Welcome to our 3-move checkmate series. This is white to move. You may pause the video if you want to study more the position. But if you are ready, let's solve this one. So the first move of white is knight going to e7 check. The bishop and the knight are checking the king at the same time. This bishop on d6 cannot react to capture the knight. So the king is forced to go to h8 and knight going to g6 check. The king cannot go here. Force to capture the knight. Pawn takes knight. And the rook is checking the king. 3-move checkmate. This is one of the famous street puzzles. So you may pause the video, white to move, and how to checkmate the black king in 3 moves. If you are ready, let's analyze this one. So here, as you can see, the black king cannot go anywhere because of the knight preventing the movement of the king. And this pawn cannot capture the knight because of the bishop pinning it down. It's a check. What is the best move of white here to checkmate in 3 moves? The bishop will go here on c6, forcing the black pawn to capture the bishop. And after that, king going to c8. And there is no way for black to stop the knight c7. Let's say c5, the only move of black. And knight c7 checkmate. White to move. What is the best move of white to finish the black king here? As you can see, materially speaking, black is better because of the queen and 2 rooks versus queen for bishop and a knight. However, white can pull a wonderful checkmate here. You may pause the video to analyze it more. If you are ready, let's go and solve this one. So the first move of white is queen takes f7. If the black king would go here to h8, bishop f6 checkmate. That's only 2. So let's just prolong the game. Instead of going to h8, let's go capture the knight on h6 and sacrifice. Bishop takes, king cannot go here because of the queen. Force move, queen f4 checkmate in 3 moves. If you want to analyze it more, you may pause the video. If you are ready, let's solve this one. So in order for you to checkmate the black king in 3 moves, you have to attack the weak pawn of black. f7. How? By sacrificing your queen. Queen takes f7. If the king would go to h8, you have your bishop and queen for a 2-move checkmate. So instead of moving away, going to h8, king takes queen, bishop c4 check. The king cannot go here because of 2 bishops. So queen is forced to cover and 3-move checkmate. White to move. This is one of the famous games that turned into a puzzle. So you may pause the video if you want to analyze how this white to pull a checkmate. If you are ready, let's solve this one. So in order for you to checkmate the black king, you have to sacrifice a piece, which is your queen. And the king is forced to what? To capture the queen. Bishop g5, check the king. Also the rook d1, checking the king. If, for example, the king would go here on c7, bishop check, cannot go here because of the rook. For example, the king would decide to, okay, let's go on e8, rook d, checkmate in 3. White to move, 3-move checkmate. In this puzzle, you can see how the knight controls the position and checkmate the black king. You may pause the video if you want to study the position more. If you're ready, let's solve this one. So the first move of white is knight f7. The knight's checking the king at the same time the rook. So there's no way for the black to capture the knight on f7, king on g8, and sacrifice rook, rook h8 check. The king cannot capture because of the knight. At the same time, king cannot capture the knight because of the rook. Knight capturing the rook on h8, knight going back to h6, 3-move checkmate. The king cannot go here because of the bishop. Okay, so let's check this another wonderful 3-move checkmate. This time it will be a pawn will mate the black king. So 3-move checkmate. Why to move? You may pause the video if you want to check how white would checkmate the king using the pawn. If you're ready, let's solve this one. So the first move of white here is to sacrifice the bishop on g7, g5, and the king is forced to capture. There's no squares for the king, and then queen going to g7. King cannot go anywhere, only here on h5 and g4. Wonderful checkmate by a pawn. Another 3-move checkmate for today's video. This one is a little bit tricky. White to move. You may pause the video to analyze it more and don't fall into something that might be a good move but not a good move actually. So if you are ready to solve this one, let's go for it. If you think that rook takes f7 will do good, nope, white is better. However, there's a king g6 here. So what is the best move of white? Instead of rook capturing the f7, knight to e6, checking the king. Two options, pawn takes knight, or king will move. Let's say go here, queen check, king move here, 3-move checkmate. Same thing though, if black would decide to capture the knight, there's a queen check, force move to h7, h6, checkmate in 3. White to move and 3-move checkmate. In order for you to checkmate the black king, you have to understand the weakness of black here, which is the g7. You have 1, 2, 3 attackers versus 1, 2, 3 defenders. So how will you force the other defender to move away? Rook to c8, sacrificing your rook. So the queen is forced to capture the rook. Queen takes rook, and now your queen is freely to capture the g7, sacrificing it, and then rook takes rook, checkmate.